We certainly have. We finally got into position with the Hukumuri Male Leopard, and it seems like he is on a mission. I'm hoping he's going to pop out into a nice clear view for you guys shortly, and I'm hoping that he actually walks down a little road that he's about to pop on. He could walk straight towards us, but in the short time that we've been with him, it appears like he is chopping and changing direction. So let's keep moving, because he's not heading the way I was hoping he was going to. Always a bit of a gamble predicting their movements. There we go. And this may well be a lot of your first time laying eyes on this specific male leopard. We've seen him quite a bit, but it's always been in the rehearsals for TV shows that we've been doing. So let's keep moving. So not a guy that we've put on camera too much for you guys. Now, he is heading into a very, very tricky area for us to follow him. But let's try and get ahead of him at least one more time before making our next plan. We may have to do a big loop around a small riverbed that I think he may cross through. But we should be able to stay with him for a little bit. There's a bit of an opening here that we can sneak through. Okay, this is going to work well. Let's reverse a little bit. He's chopping and changing his direction. Quarelina, you say, oh dear, he's here, and the reason that you're saying, oh dear, is that this male leopard can and will pose a threat to a female leopard called Thandi, and specifically her young cub. He is not the father of her cub, and he's recently started pushing into this area, putting pressure on the dominant male called Tingana, and he was also seen having a quarrel with one of the other dominant males to our north called Djuma. So this guy is a man on a mission, and sadly it is going to prove dangerous for any leopards that are not his own. And it's not uncommon for male leopards to kill cubs that they did not father, and that releases the mother of her responsibility of raising them, and therefore he can get his genes into the system. So it's normal behavior with leopards, but sadly not one that's easy for us to witness. What an awesome scene, and so happy that we've finally managed to catch up with this guy. He's been moving huge distances, and yesterday he was quite far from here, and there's nothing better than being in our situation, being able to document, a takeover, which is exactly what's happening here, or some kind of dispute between leopards. Now, we're going to have to loop around. Duchess, you'd like to know if Tingana's been seen scent marking since this guy's came along, and I'm not too sure. I think Tingana definitely knows that this guy is around. I think they may have already had a few quarrels together. We just haven't documented it, but I'm fairly confident that Tingana knows he's getting some pressure, and it'll be very interesting to see exactly how the next few months pan out with regards to the behavior of the male leopards, namely Tingana and this individual. I've got a feeling that this guy has already possibly, like I said, had words with Tingana and possibly come out on top. I would expect to have been seeing Tingana more in this area had he really wanted to put up a fight to keep this male away, but we are not seeing that. So anything could happen. Now, another interesting thing that could happen this morning is that herd of buffalo that we saw earlier is not too far from where we are now. They were heading in this direction, and this male leopard could well try and snipe one of the young calves out of that herd. It would be an incredible scene for us to witness. So that's something to look forward to, possibly. Let's just hope that the leopard does pop out here. He was heading straight towards this area, but there was a small little riverbed that we wouldn't have been able to negotiate in this vehicle, so we had to do a loop around. I can hear squirrels alarm calling like crazy, so they can see him. But where is he moving? Welcome back, and aren't you guys all glad that Megan is still in fact alive? Wonderful stuff. Now we've got ourselves finally into a magic spot here with the Hukumuri male, and I'm looking forward to spending the rest of the morning with him. Now, even though he's looking a little bit sleepy now, he is a man on a mission, and I highly doubt that he is going to continue sleeping here. He will probably get up and continue to move at some points during the day, and he's been moving a lot recently, and that's because he is recently kind of trying to acquire territory in this area. It's literally within the last few weeks that he's come onto the scene. And the first time we saw him, I think, was probably somewhere around the 10th of December. We stumbled into him on a bushwalk, and he's been spending more and more time on the property since then. He was seen competing with another male leopard to the north of us called Djuma, and that was just a few days ago. They didn't actually come to blows with one another that we saw, and it's uncommon for leopards to do that. So what they tend to do is walk side by side and vocalize at one another, kind of shouting at one another as they go. And it seemed like he kind of won the dispute over, well, that he was having with that male to the north. We haven't seen him interacting with our dominant male here at Tingana just yet, but I'm almost certain he would have. Deanna, you'd like to know if this leopard has been sawing. Well, not this morning. We haven't heard any calls, and we also haven't seen him scent mark. It's not to say that he hasn't. We haven't spent a great deal of time with him since we kind of came onto the scene here. But he has been seen scent marking in this territory that is not his, even though he is kind of doing his best to acquire the land. And he could well. He's a lot younger, we presume, than Tingana, who's our dominant male for the time being. And exciting stuff as dominance of the leopards in this area seems to be shifting. It sadly, though, like we've said a little bit earlier, doesn't bode well for a leopardess called Tandi and her youngster, because he will kill her little cub if he finds it. He's covered in ticks, so he's obviously not spending too much time grooming himself. You can see lots of little dots on his head there. So too focused on trying to acquire land and not spending too much time cleaning himself. Michael, you'd like to know how deep has he moved into Djuma? Well, as far as we've documented, he's kind of only heading into about a third of the property. He's pushing into the east. So basically, if you cut up our property is basically square, and he's moving in the western third from the southern boundary all the way to the northern boundary. He's moving about a third, into our western portion of Djuma, and Tingana seems to have pushed further to the east towards Torchwood. So he's definitely not that we've seen moving far into Djuma, but that doesn't mean to say he is, of course, or hasn't, of course, done that. So much goes on without our knowledge. But at least now we kind of have got him banked for this morning, and we'll spend as much time as we can today. Mita, you'd like to know if anybody's seen another male leopard recently, a male leopard called Mvula, who used to be dominant before Tingana. So Mvula was the dominant male when I came onto the scene about 3 years ago. And no, I haven't heard him being seen for weeks. So no updates there as to where he is and what he's doing. What you tend to find happening is once male leopards kind of start becoming a little bit old and no longer reigning dominant, they'll still need somewhere to live, and they'll often just fly below the radar of the new dominant male. They won't scent mark, they won't really compete, they'll avoid females, and that is kind of what Mvula is doing. And the same goes for young males before they become dominant. So you do get on both ends of the spectrum, young leopards and really old leopards that are just kind of existing without competing too much for ladies. Sorry everyone, I'm having trouble with my comms this morning, so battling to hear exactly what questions you're asking me. PT Watcher, you'd like to know if Tundi would follow Tingana if he was pushed off the property by this male. Only up to a point, because she's going to come up against other leopardess. So male leopards and their quarrels between land and territory are strictly between men, and females have their own quarrels and kind of fights over territory. So it's not as easy as her just following her boyfriend around as he moves off, because she is, like I say, going to come up against resistance from other females. She'll definitely do what she can to stay as much as possible in Tingana's territory, because she knows that way her cub will be safe. But again, she's not going to have free reign as to go wherever she likes. And who knows, maybe that's already why she is heading further to the south and east of our property, or east thereof, because of this guy coming in and pushing in from the west. So she could already very well be changing her movements and her cub's positions due to this guy coming onto the scene. Very good. Well, we're not going to be going anywhere, even though he is a little bit sleepy. I'm feeling confident that he's going to get up and take us on a stroll before the end of the safari. And we'll wait here patiently for that moment and send you back to Noel, who is looking soon after a little bit of cleaning. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. And I've got 0 comms with final control, hence me not hearing a word that you were coming to us. Let me jiggle my cables and see if anything helps. There we go. We've got you now, Bex. Not too sure what the issue could be. Having a small nightmare with comms this morning. And as you heard me saying, I'm confident that he is going to get up soon. He's going to yawn once or twice, and then he is going to continue heading towards a herd of buffalo, where I'm hoping he's going to try and snipe a youngster. It'll be an incredible thing to pull off, because the adults will definitely try and defend the youngster as and when he catches one, but leopards are experts at stealth, and he could manage to slink below the radar. He's got an interesting kind of a scar on his shoulder there, where the rosettes meet up. So that's quite an interesting diagnostic mark. Ready to go. You would like to know how long on average will male leopards reign dominance over a territory. And kind of 2 or 3 years, I think, would be your average good reign. But a couple of years either side of that is possible. Of course, there are just so many variables involved in answering a question like that and in the life of any dominant male leopard. But let's take Tingana, for example. He came into this area about, I'd say, 2.5 years ago, and now already he's getting pushed out. So that's a kind of good example of the case at hand. Tingana came in, he's been dominant, now he's getting pressure from this guy. Also, I mean, there's hugely varying demographics of leopards. So here in the Sabi Sands, there's a very high density of leopards, and that means I think that males will have more competition and therefore have shorter reigns as dominant males than in areas where there are less leopards with less competition. But yeah, I'd say 2 to 3 years would be a good innings. Anything upwards of that would be really good, and anything less than that would obviously just mean an unlucky male's already been ousted, having not been on the throne for too long. I mean, it's fascinating to think that this guy is competing with definitely Djuma. That's been documented 3 days ago, so a male that's dominant to the north of us. I'm almost certain he's had some kind of words with Tingana so far. Who knows who he's dealing with to the west of us. So he is really, really busy. He's got a lot on his plate at the moment, and I guess all male leopards will kind of be preparing themselves for this point in their life when it's time to really start making ends meet and start trying to establish oneself. And he is kind of going full ball at it at the moment. It would be awesome to be able to just follow him 24 hours a day to understand exactly what he gets up to. Hello to Michael, who I'm told is a new viewer, and it's very good to have you on safari with us. Michael, I must say that this is not our regular vehicle. We've just had to rig it up with a tripod and a camera because our regular vehicles have broken. And I've completely forgotten. Oh no, you would like to know if we get any panthers here. I'd just forgotten your question. And well, this is a form of a panther. Its Latin name is Panthera pardus. We also get Panthera leo, the lion, here. But ordinarily, I think panthers are usually jaguars, or people use the term panther to talk about jaguars in South America. We do not get any jaguars here in Africa. But this is a part of the Panthera genus. And this is 2 of 3 big cats that we get in this area, or 1 of 3 big cats that we get in this area. We also get lion and very occasionally cheetah. The crew up in the Masai Mara are more likely to deliver cheetah for you, though. There's higher populations of them there, but those are the 3 big cats of Africa: lion, leopard and cheetah. Tigers and jaguars are elsewhere. And hopefully we'll be able to take you guys on some tiger and jaguar safaris in the future. That would be a dream come true for me. I've seen neither of those big cats in the wild. What has got your attention? There's some squirrels that started alarm calling, and then he kind of picked up his head and is now looking in that direction. Imagine if Tingana came onto the scene. It is possible. It would be a very pleasant surprise to see another male leopard on the scene. But no guarantees that is going to happen. We'll just be sitting here waiting patiently. Like I said a bit earlier, I'm confident that he is going to get up and keep moving. So are you. Back to Jamie in the Mara. Yes, like Noel says, it is great for the leopard gene pool that this newcomer is here. We, of course, have stressed, though, how it may not be in the best interest of a specific female called Thandi and her youngster, because sadly that youngster is not in a safe position having this guy pushing in onto the scene. And if he does manage to overthrow Tingana from this area, there is a high likelihood that it'll just be a matter of time until he stumbles upon Thandi and her youngster. And it's not just the youngsters that are in danger. They are the kind of main risk, or under the most threat from a male leopard. But even a leopardess who's trying to defend her cub could get killed in the crossfire. And I remember seeing a very, very difficult video to watch of a male leopard racing up a tree, and he was fighting with a cub that was probably about 9 months old. So quite a big cub. And the mother heard the commotion, went running up the tree, and the male leopard then attacked the leopardess and went flying out of this tree with her and killed her upon landing on the ground. And then I'm guessing he went and finished off the cub thereafter. So it is an example of an adult female being killed by a new male. And I guess it's no different to male lions, a dominant coalition of male lions, or at least a new one coming onto the scene. They too will mainly be attacking cubs, but from time to time mothers will try and defend the cubs and therefore get into a bit of a spot of bother with the males. So those are kind of just realities of what's going on. We're very, very lucky that we are here to document this and that it's kind of happening now, because it kind of does only happen every 2 or 3 years on average. Will you get new leopards coming in and trying to overthrow the kind of dominant male that's beginning to get a little bit old, which again happened about 3 years ago when Tingana came on and pushed Mvula off, and now it's the Hukumuri male coming on and putting some pressure on Tingana. So those are the realities and kind of hardships of what's going on with the leopard in this area. Very good. We're going to stay put. He looks quite comfortable for now, but I'm confident he's going to get up and move at some point during the course of the day, hopefully within the next half an hour. We are sending you back to Jamie with some giraffe.